I'm mostly just talking about what I talked to you about before, like the fairy tale versus like harsh reality thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what this whole podcast is going to be about.
Oh, for The Wolf Among Us?
Yep.
This is going to be the cold open now?
I don't know.
Does it ruin the cold open if I reference it?
Yeah. Hello, Garbage Town listeners. This is Garbage Cast reviewing the Telltale game Wolf Among Us. I'm Josh. I'm here with my friend David.
Hello?
So I started playing Wolf Among Us pretty late. I think there's 3 episodes out when I started playing it. I only played 1 episode and then I waited like a couple months and I heard that 4 was coming out. So then I started playing all the other ones and then I feel like 5 was pretty fast after that. I don't know exactly why, but
Yeah. I've been following what tail I have so sorry. I beat the whole game this week. By the way, the concept of beating a game I think is phasing out because it's like you don't beat a game anymore, I feel like. Like difficulty's different in games. Maybe this is a separate topic, but
well, especially in this game.
yeah, every time I say like I beat The Wolf Among Us, it's like that really sounds weird to me. I finished it. I finished The Wolf Among Us. And I did it all this week, but I remember like I've been following what the release schedule for this game and The Walking Dead season 2. And I know like they initially planned to have like each episode come out like earlier than they did, but now they're like at a pace that they want to be at, it seems like. Like they seem to be coming out like at a more regular rate and like a more frequent rate too.
I love seeing other artists and other mediums like mess up and not get their deadlines, even if they're legit companies like Telltale.
Yeah, I mean it happens with video games all the time. Like you can almost guarantee that like a game is going to be delayed these days.
Yeah, it makes me feel better about all of the deadlines of my own that I don't reach.
Yeah, I don't think it makes me feel better, but it still happens to me.
Well, I base my own value off of other people. I don't know exactly how you want to start this out. I guess we could talk about this episode first, I feel like.
I actually... Let's get into that last, because let's try to not spoil it immediately. We'll say when we're going to spoil it.
Okay.
But I have... The way I've been thinking about this game, even when playing it, is... This is cool. Not as good as The Walking Dead. And I really hate statements like that, even though I just said it.
Yeah.
But there are things that... And this is what I'm a little bit confused about. And like you played the first season of The Walking Dead too, so maybe you can comment a little bit about it. But perhaps because it's like my second Telltale experience, maybe I'm just more aware of how the plot is going to be catered to me based on my decisions.
Yeah.
And what the game tells me. And because I knew so much of what some of the emotional beats were going to be, it really like... It wasn't as impactful as the first season of Walking Dead to me.
Well, I think that just the whole storyline, the stakes aren't as high in this game as they are in The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more predictable in general, and that's kind of the nature of a zombie story, is like anybody can die at any time, and especially in The Walking Dead, a lot of people do die all the time in those stories.
Yeah. But the other thing is just mechanically, when the game does a thing like so-and-so will remember this, or like it'll give you a prompt on what you just did, like the one that immediately comes to mind is you make a promise to one of the characters. This isn't really a spoiler. You make a promise to Holly, um, and as soon as it told me I had made a promise to Holly, I knew that the plot would be catered, so I break the promise, which does happen.
Yeah.
And then Holly's like you said you would do this, and I was like, well, yeah, like the game. It isn't like it is an illusion of choice thing. I had no say in the matter whether or not it actually happened, and I thought it could happen. But as soon as the game told me that I had made the promise, I knew that the game was going to break the promise. And maybe that's also a tonal issue in the game because like everyone is so bitter and on edge in this game that I just know everything is going to go wrong for my character.
Yeah. I mean, this game, like, you as the superhero fall into the very... It's a lot like, Spider-Man or Batman. It's like you are the hero, but everybody hates everything you do all the time.
Yeah.
And you can really predict that everybody's going to react like that to you the whole story.
Yeah, and I do think they were hitting some pretty cool stuff with that, like especially because you're in this position of like government power, and it talks a lot about like who the government spends their time and money on and who they don't, even if like the people have been trying really hard to get like help from the government or something.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hitting some really interesting ideas with that, but I personally felt like they didn't get anywhere, or not necessarily anywhere, but they didn't go too far with it by the time all the episodes are done.
Yeah, they definitely didn't go very deep into that stuff, but that was a fun thing. Like, I think that in general, like, this definitely didn't emotionally hit me as hard as The Walking Dead, but there was some things that it did that were very different and that it did cool. And one of those things was like, there were a few interesting things about race. It's fun to look at the race issue through something that isn't so sensitive because they're just fairy tales.
Yeah. And class. There's a lot of class in this game, which I appreciated.
I wanted to acknowledge when you were talking about the we'll remember this, you made a promise to her thing, those little prompts that show up to the gag that they do when there's that drunk guy and it says that he will not remember this.
Oh yeah. I did appreciate that. But it did make me think, like, when I was seeing these prompts, like maybe with the exception of that one, that like the game would probably be better if they didn't tell me that, because there's a lot that they don't say anything, and I think the game is stronger because of it if they don't tell you, because then it's harder to foresee where it's going.
That's probably true. I guess that they do it because there's a lot of things in the game where you really can't tell if your choice does anything.
Yeah.
And so they're telling you, like, oh, that thing you just did, you just made a choice, and it's going to have its consequences.
Yeah, exactly. Backtracking a little bit to the tone as well, like everyone hates you tone.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I really liked about that tone, even though like it did make some of the gameplay stuff like predictable for me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I really did like about it is the game made it pretty hard for you to be nice and take like non-violent actions, but they're still there, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
And I tried to do them, and like you can definitely, if you're thinking about each situation, like there are definitely ways to do most scenarios non-violently.
Yeah.
And they're not always like right in front of you. Sometimes you have to exhaust every single dialogue option before like something substantive like opens up.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's on your back, like especially the opening scene of... Is it the opening scene? It's close to the opening scene of episode 2. where you're talking to whoever you captured,
Yeah.
and Bluebeard is really on your back.
Wait, were there
Like,
who could you have captured in that? Was there more than one person?
yeah, you could have captured either the woodsman or one of it's either D or Dumb.
Huh. I wonder what that would have been like if I would have done the woodsman.
I see. I captured the woodsman.
Huh. What was that like?
Um,
Did you beat him up?
no, I did not.
Could you have?
Yes.
That'd be weird.
Could you not?
I no, I could beat up Tweedle, whichever one, but
Yeah.
like nobody cares if you beat him up. But like the woodsman
It,
sort of was a good character in some ways, and like I wonder if you would have beat him up, what it would have been like when you talked to him after the whole pawn shop thing.
oh yeah. Well, the woodsman was just so defeated by the time that scene came around. He was just like, I'm really just done. And there was a lot of options where it was like you have the option to like give him a cigarette, which also like I'm not sure if you got this option later, but like after the pawn shop scene, you have the same option. Um, and like by the time the game ended, like I was on really good terms with the woodsman.
Yeah, I was on pretty good terms with him too. I didn't, because I didn't even have to interrogate him, so
Hmm. Yeah.
I gave him a cigarette too.
Yeah.
He was nice.
Um, yeah. I just felt like I don't know. He just seems so defeated that I just like nothing. I'm not gonna kick him while he's down. You
Yeah,
know? Uh,
that was the fun thing about the game too. Was like, there's a lot of characters in it, but because it's like subject matter that mostly we're all familiar with, I was able to like, and even if I wasn't super familiar, I would go in and read the little book of fables entries.
oh, see, I never did a single one of those. I kept on seeing it pop up, and I was like, not. I just like wasn't gonna go into it for some reason.
Well, and it would just give you a really simple, quick explanation of like where the character was coming from emotionally and just life wise.
Okay.
So it would kind of, I don't know, it would add a little bit of depth.
Yeah. I thought the cast was pretty strong in general.
Yeah.
There's no one I can really think of that I was like, that character's really throwaway or like a stereotype or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed even like some of the minor characters that you meet, like Vivian, become like way more important than you even realize.
Yeah. I really like, spoiler alert, when her head falls off.
That scene is actually really good.
That looked so funny.
You thought it was funny?
I mean, just the way her head falls off.
I see. I like it's stylized in a way that I thought that I like because I knew that was gonna happen when she took it off. Like they teased out the ribbon thing too much, and like it's around their neck.
Yeah.
And like whatever.
And everybody who you'd seen who died was headless.
Yeah, and I knew that was like gonna happen. When she did that, but like I liked the execution because like the way she's still talking after she removes it, like I have no idea why I like it like cinematically, but like it's stylized in a way that I thought was like I don't want to use the word cool, but like I don't know, maybe I do want to use that word.
Yeah.
It was like a nice like last words, like sort of not necessarily like cathartic, but pretty like visceral death.
Yeah.
That said, I really did not like the way Georgie died. If you did you leave him or did you kill him?
I killed him.
Yeah, me too. I didn't like that. I like he was like because I wanted to make it quick and I guess that's one way to do it, but it just seemed like a bad way to me.
He
Like
just starts screaming.
yeah, I was like, don't do it through the gut. um. Speaking of which, Georgie's voice actor was amazing, and the voice acting in general was very good.
Yeah, I think so too.
So hold on. Just a quick aside. Did you ever watch G4?
No.
Okay. Do you know Adam Sessler at all?
Yeah.
Okay. You know his voice?
A little bit.
He sounds exactly like Big B to me.
Really?
When I looked at the credits, I was like, Adam Sessler did the voice acting. I was like, that's amazing. I didn't know that he did that, but it wasn't him. But it sounds exactly like him.
I think that there was that one character, the like white giant monster guy who had like one eye that was messed up, who was always
Yeah.
hanging out in the bar.
Yeah, Gren, I think his name is.
Yeah, his voice is kind of annoying.
I can't really remember it for some reason.
It was also like kind of similar to Big B, and I would always hear him like screeching, and I'd think Big B was screeching. I don't know.
Uh-huh. Bigsby's voice was actually something that I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be more like grizzled and deep, but it's actually
Yeah.
not too much like that.
It would have been really predictable if it was like a solid Snake voice.
Yeah, totally. So
I like the frog's voice.
yeah, me too. I like the Frog's character in general, and my favorite gameplay segment was piecing together the crime scene at Frog's house.
Really?
Yeah,
That was also just the biggest scene with Frog, so
yeah.
you must have really liked that character.
I it's not even like he's probably not in my top 5 or anything for the series, but like I just really liked that gameplay segment. Like, I actually felt like because you like could catch him in lies and stuff, and like
Yeah.
actually do like detective work or whatever, and I liked that part.
But
The
you
gameplay.
didn't you say you don't like LA Noire that much?
I just didn't play it that much.
I need to start harping on you to play that like you harped on Persona. Because I would say that game that's pretty high up for me.
Yeah, and now that I have a PC, because like when I was running on my laptop, like there was like a bunch of textures and like stuff that was missing, and like the ground was like disappearing, like and stuff. So
I don't know, how did this game run for you on PC?
oh, it ran fantastic.
Really?
Yeah,
Because-
there was a few hiccups, but like Telltale is pretty infamous for like not having the best optimized games, you know, like on any platform.
Yeah, I mean, when I play Walking Dead on PS3, it skips around really bad.
Yeah,
And when I played this one, I was playing it on an iPad, which I guess you should really expect to be bad, and it was pretty bad in some spots.
yeah. How were the QuickTime events for you because of that? Like, did you?
There was a couple times where weird stuff would happen. I mean, it's nice to just do a touch interface for them, though.
Yeah,
So I would
Yeah.
say for that, for the actually like action portions of it, it was good, but it was bad because it would freeze every once in a while.
yeah.
The QuickTime stuff, I don't know what to feel about it all anymore. I've seen it a lot, and it's kind of like a bummer. But on the other hand, I know that it does like put me a little more in the tension of the scene. It would be dumb to just have it be a fight scene that you watch or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know what else they would do.
Yeah, the only thing that really bothers me in QuickTime events is I hate having to like spam a button over and over. Like, it's like Bigby's being choked and you have to like throw him off. And for me, I'm not sure what it was on the iPad, but it was like press Q really really fast and hard. And I was like, I hate this. Like, I don't like. Like, I like the other stuff because it's more or less like a rhythm game.
Yeah.
You know? And like there is sort of a nice actual rhythm to QuickTime events that I actually enjoy engaging with in a game like this.
Mhm.
But I hate having just to do like the spam button over and over.
Yeah. I liked the car chase scene in this last episode.
Why?
I don't know. It was a cool QuickTime event. It was one of the cooler ones in the series, I thought.
Yeah, I liked when you fought Bloody Mary.
I didn't really like that, but maybe that was partially just because that whole segment to me was confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Bloody Mary is one of which their lore I'm not very familiar with, other than just. I mean, I think they just made it up because I feel like the only thing that kids actually say is that you say it and then she appears, and that's like it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I assume the reason she had stuff sticking out of her was something to do with her going through a mirror.
Yeah.
I don't understand why there's so many of her.
Yeah, I don't get that either. But the thing I liked about the scene was, and this is like a very weird reason, so I don't necessarily like expect anyone to like feel similarly, but like when Bixby finally like turned into the wolf, like the full-blown wolf, there's just something about like the power of a dog that I like respect and like to see.
Yeah, I agree that he was cool.
I don't like, it's not even necessarily like just so like action cool. It's just like when I see like a dog, like,
Especially one that big.
yeah, like just do something, like just be powerful. I like respect it and like to see that for some reason.
Yeah.
Like when I dog sit my aunt's dog, and I'm just so in awe of how strong this animal is, but like there's still so much restraint,
Yeah.
you know? And like, I don't know, I just like love the power of dogs. Which is such a weird thing to say, but it's true. Like, for some reason, it's just like, I just think they're like amazing animals, and I like to see that in a game. I thought it was represented good in the game.
The Crooked Man was a strange character.
He was a disappointing character in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he's built up so much, and
Yeah, and like what he's doing and everything is built up so much. It's like, Bigby, you don't know anything, but like,
but it's like as soon as Bigby got to him, he had nothing.
yeah,
He
it
just
was like,
ran away, and that's all you ever see him do is run away. And like when you finally get to him, he just stands there and lets you get him, and then you take him to the people, and he fails, and then that's it.
yeah, it was like,
It was kind of like maybe they got to him a little bit too late in the story, and they like had to wrap up the game, so they had to throw him away.
Well, I just think they really overhyped the secrecy of Fabletown. Like, it was like, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And like, you pretty much do know what's going on. Everyone's in debt to this guy,
Yeah.
and he runs like like a sketchy business. Like, that's really all there is to it. There was seriously nothing crazy to it at all.
Yeah, it would have been cool if there was like a bigger conspiracy.
Yeah, definitely. I was really hoping for something crazier.
I mean, it's just like basically this guy did something that's very realistic for a criminal to do.
Yeah.
Except for he lived
and
in
like
he lived in a house.
Explored in fiction as well.
Yeah, except that he lived in a house that moved around.
Yeah.
And what the heck was the Tiny Tim thing?
I have no idea.
Why did it matter if you waited?
No idea.
Did you? I assume you waited.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe
it was just
maybe
because that's just the character I was playing, you know.
Maybe it would have mattered if we wouldn't have waited. But I
doubt it, but maybe. I don't know. Oh, speaking of like just decisions, are there any decisions you made that maybe you didn't mean to make, or you thought the prompt was misleading or something?
I mean, I don't remember, but there's plenty of stuff in the game where you like pick something to say and he doesn't say exactly what you thought he was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a little bit of that. Like, I thought it overall did pretty well, but there was two notable instances for me. One was like minor and funny, and one was major. And the minor one is when you're with the woodsman in the bar, and you sit next to him. I think this is in episode 1. And there's an option to quote unquote glass him. And I thought that meant like like clink glasses with him, you know, like a show of camaraderie or something.
But you like hit him in the head?
Yeah, you hit him in the head with a glass, which is literally the exact opposite of what I wanted to happen.
That's funny.
And then he's like, "What the heck, Big B?" And I'm like, "I didn't mean to do that." So I actually reloaded the game to fix that.
Do they start fighting right after you do that? If you do that?
I think so.
Uh-huh.
The other one was at the end when you're like deciding whether or not Toad's gonna go to the farm.
Yeah.
There's an option that says it will only be for a little while.
Uh-huh.
Or like it won't be forever. And what I thought that meant, because like the previous sentence led me to think this, is like, I'm gonna help you out, but it won't be forever. Like you have to like get glamored and stuff.
Yeah.
But instead it's, I'm gonna send you to the farm,
but not
and it won't be forever. But I like, that's like at the very end of the game, and I wasn't gonna reload and like fix that decision.
Yeah.
And like I saved Colin, so of course Toad was like, "Oh, well, you saved Colin." And I was like, "Hey, it's the game's fault."
Yeah.
I was looking for the option, you know.
I wonder. I'm kind of scrolling through my decisions here, and you know, I noticed I offered Flycatcher a job, as 96% of other players did.
I was part of that small, the 3.9% that did not offer him a job.
So what happens at the end of the game when the frog's being driven away?
He's still there.
Oh my god! I was worried you were gonna say that. Nothing in these games is a choice.
Yeah, it like most of it is just tonal conversation stuff, which I'm pretty fine with. I'm mostly just there for the story.
Yeah.
But that said, like that's another thing where it's like not as good as The Walking Dead. Is I just knew that the illusion of choice was already there, because in The Walking Dead I was completely under the illusion, you know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I mean, have you played Heavy Rain?
Yeah, I'd be Heavy Rain.
I mean, that game had more choice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was something I was going to bring up. Can you lose in this game? Like, is there a game over screen?
I feel like you could probably die, because you could die in The Walking Dead.
I know, but there was like a lot of times where I would mess up QuickTime events enough times in a row where I would be like, okay, I'm gonna die, and it wouldn't happen.
But you didn't.
So I feel like maybe
know.
you just can't die in this.
That could be possible. It wouldn't bother me too much because I really hated dying in The Walking Dead. It was just annoying to me. So maybe that's just something they saw and was like, well, death is sort of pointless.
Yeah,
like,
you still die in season 2 of The Walking Dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to it yet, but
it's weird.
As far as for me, for unpopular decisions, did you tell Beast the truth about beauty? You and 19.5% of players tried to stay out of it. And I stayed out of it because I knew if I told Beast, like, Beauty would be mad, and if I told Beauty, Beast would be mad. or like if I told Beast the truth, Beauty would be mad, and if I kept the truth from Beast, Beast would be mad. But I think Beast is just mad regardless.
I seriously can't believe that Flycatcher is still in the end of the game.
I see. It was left a little bit ambiguous whether or not he was working there, but he was in the hall.
What?
Like, working. So, I don't know.
What happened to Prince Lawrence? Did you prevent his death? It's in the first episode.
Prevent his death?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think you could.
Yeah, I guess you could. I didn't either. I wonder what that would be like. Who did you say was your prime suspect?
Georgie.
Nice.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything. That's always a really funny part of these games, is whether or not like you mean to not say anything, because that's just what happens when you don't say anything, like in time. It's gonna be really funny when you just don't respond.
Yeah. How'd you punish the Crooked Man?
Um, oh, the very end.
Yeah.
I threw him in the well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what'd you do?
I imprisoned him.
Oh my god.
They imprison him in a pretty interesting way. Like, the witch turns him into a crow and keeps him in a cage.
That's nice.
What were your last words to Narissa? Because I said nothing.
I said, me and 23% of players said, I hope I've done some good here. That's so dumb.
What'd you think of the end twist?
Like that she was the one who gave you stuff? Like that helped you out?
Like the very final twist. Like when she's walking away, you hear all the voiceovers, like that's like, oh my gosh, da da da, you know?
I mean,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. What does that mean?
It means, probably that, Faith, you did meet Faith at the beginning of the game, but Faith is not the one who died. Narissa probably died, glamored as Faith, and Faith is a glamored Narissa throughout the rest of the game.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Which I thought was interesting. It definitely opened some options for season 2.
Does Bigby love Faith or Marissa?
So he definitely was into Narissa, or no, sorry, Faith at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that is why he was into Narissa later in the game, because they actually had similar. They were the same person, you know.
That makes sense.
Just in a different, in sheep's clothing, as they say.
Yeah. Oh my God, you figured it out.
What does that say?
Mike's playing some loud music in the other room. I'm hoping it doesn't bleed into this too much.
I can hear it for sure. Just one last thing I'd like to say. It's a really common thing to take like something and make it dark, you know?
Yeah.
Like what this did with like fairy tales. This is one instance where I think it was really warranted because fairy tales are so inherently childish, so like just seeing them applied in this completely different setting was actually cool. It wasn't just like taking Zelda and making it dark. Something that like has potential for dark. It's like something that I don't know, it was just so out there, you know, such a different take on those universes that like I liked it a lot.
And I mean, they gave all of the characters actual emotional like characters to be coming from, and so it was fun. Like it was fun because they were characters you could be interested in, and then they were characters you had also already heard of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the stuff that I thought was really fun about the game, was just the world I thought was cool, and I honestly, I may try reading the comic, because, I don't know, if might be better, because a lot of times that's how things work, and if it was better, I think it'd probably be really good.
Yeah, I definitely like the world. I would definitely play, like I said, I'd definitely play season 2. I'm not itching to go pick up the comics, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like super excited, but I think I'll probably try it out and see if it's something I'm into.
Yeah, definitely.
I've heard this is a prequel.
Yeah, it is.
So is the story based around Bigby in the comics?
I assume so, just because it's still called The Wolf Among Us.
I think it's actually called Fables.
Oh yeah, no, that is right. I'm sorry.
So I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah. By the way, I really like that title, The Wolf Among Us. Also, all the titles like had double entendre, or
had wolf.
Not sure if entendre is the right word, but
I think
double meaning.
Wolf puns.
Yeah, it's true, but like I thought they actually were good.
Yeah.
And I really like I think the title is the best one. Just because it's like talking about Bigby, but it's also like like the Wolf Among Us has in like among the characters there is like someone like bad, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like a mystery. So I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah. There's not enough detective games in my opinion, although I don't know if they're... I'm pretty into that, so maybe I would just always say that. You were talking about how you liked Frog's section. Is that his name?
Yeah. Or no, it's Toad, I think.
Is it the Toad from Frog and Toad?
Yeah, I think it is.
Huh. I love those.
I can only remember like what the cover looks like.
But I would have liked more detective stuff. That pretty much kind of went away after the second episode.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the strongest episode was the second, and then maybe followed by like either the first or the fifth.
Yeah. I don't think 4 and 5 were that strong. They're also, I think, the shortest.
Yeah, 1 is definitely the longest.
Yeah.
4 got a lot of crap, but I didn't think it was too bad.
I was just honestly surprised when it ended. I realized after thinking back about it that there was like some stuff that happened in it, which initially I just couldn't remember any of it. I think part of that was because there was a lot of new characters introduced, and that was most of what happened.
Yeah.
You were like going through that meat guy's place, and then there was the Jersey Devil stuff, and...
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff was pretty rushed. Like, it's like, I guess the pawn shop and, like, the butcher's place had their role in the story, but, like, not... It was like what we were saying before, like, the seedy underbelly of Fables wasn't as crazy as it was set out to be.
Yeah. I've forgotten that the Jersey Devil was a thing, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I liked the character design and everything.
Yeah,
but his character didn't do a lot.
That was something that I wanted to mention in general, is that there were some really cool monsters.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even like that stuff very much at the time, but I actually thought all of the monsters were really cool.
Yeah, there was really good design in this game. Also, like, D and Dumb's character and the way that they're introduced as D and Dumb is awesome.
Yeah, they are pretty cool. Did you kill one of them?
I didn't.
I did.
I was just playing the nice guy like the whole time. In The Walking Dead, I was like much more torn about the decisions, but I also think I was a little bit more emotionally involved.
Yeah.
Like, spoilers for season 1 of Walking Dead, but in episode 2, there are the 2 brothers on the farm, and I killed the first one and spared the second one, and then I realized I probably should have killed both, or either killed both or spared both. And so, like, when I played The Wolf Among Us, I was just really trying to, like, be consistent.
You didn't want to cause any sibling grief.
Yeah.
You can't handle that guilt. You know, the weird thing...
I just know if you do anything contradicting in these games, someone is going to bring it up, like when I sent Toad to the farm, but not Colin.
Yeah.
By the way, Colin might be my favorite character. Colin was awesome.
He is pretty cool. The funny thing about when you do kill one of the brothers, I don't remember which one it is, but when you meet the other brother again, when you're in the Crooked Man's lair,
yeah,
he's mad, but he really doesn't even like react that much. He's like sitting there totally fine when you walk in, and he's like even talking, and he doesn't... I mean, I just figured he would like jump up and be really mad.
Yeah,
but
totally.
He just sits there and he talks normally for a while, and then like when things start getting tense, he's like, "You gonna kill me too?" He just doesn't...
Yeah, overall I think like some of the dialogue in this was like a little bit rushed towards your decisions. Like, I don't know, they weren't super weighty in this game. Or like they might have felt weighty, which is mostly the important part, but the payoff is usually not huge.
It was cool when Crane turned out to want to have sex with Snow. That was fun.
Yeah, I liked that scene too. Like, just not necessarily like the fight with Beast. I did not like that part. But like
Beast is so dumb.
But going through like the open arms, there was like the room and everything was like creepy too, and like just the imagery of the bed was like, ugh. Like,
yeah, it was like, it is kind of a fun thing to think of. The perfect couple, Beauty and the Beast, as family.
Yeah, and like they talk about like we used to live in a castle. And
yeah, that was pretty good. Like they just want to maintain their lifestyle.
Yeah.
You've been talking the whole time to Beauty, and she's like saying how bad she's got it, and she's working in the hooker hotel. But you go to her place, and it's really nice.
Yeah, and then Beast was just like a complete idiot like the whole game.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Although when I decided to spare the crooked man, he's like the only, because everyone was like, you gotta be kidding me. But like in the background you can hear Beast say like, you're doing the right thing. I was like, oh great, I don't want your approval.
When you left the Beast and Beauty's apartment and they tell you to kill the crooked man, did you agree or what?
She's wearing the same dress she wore yesterday. And she had to give a ride.
I said he's gonna pay. Or something like that.
I think I said I wasn't going to, and the way they react, that's some of the worst dialogue in the game. Like, they just react and they're like, oh, we didn't mean kill him. It's really cheesy and funny.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to bring up.
That meat store owner guy is funny.
Yeah.
What a pointless character.
Yeah, seriously.
That whole thing was pretty pointless. I mean, the only thing it did was, like, you needed to understand, I guess, that the crooked man was giving these people no choice.
Yeah.
Like, and you, to see that, you needed to see more than one person have that happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
But literally, he was just like shoved in there so that there could be more than one.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, after seeing the crooked man's entire posse, it's like, by what they meant by giving them no choice was just Bloody Mary. Because Bloody Mary was the like entire muscle of the team. Like, all the other people were too, but they all sort of, I don't know, maybe Tweedledee and Dumb and the Jersey Devil were into it, but it seemed like they were all claiming to be forced into it.
Yeah. I thought, like, and I think that worked in episode 3, because I thought Bloody Mary was pretty scary in episode 3.
I did
Way
too.
more scary than episode 5, Bloody Mary.
I did too.
I don't know. The end scene of episode 3 in general was like, that was like a pretty strong scene and like pretty scary and everything.
Yeah, definitely. The ending, it was hard for me to be scared of Bloody Mary. I think because partially because there became so many at one point.
Yeah.
That was just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I guess like, because I could have imagined that character really, really scaring me in the right situation.
Totally.
But it wasn't dark, and I don't know, I wasn't really scared of being anything jumping out at me. I think partially because you're not really playing in the game. It's like, nothing really could jump out and you'll have to do something. I don't know.
Yeah. And there wasn't, just like, I don't know, her, like, the way she was acting, like, psychologically in the 3rd episode seemed different than the 5th episode a little bit. Like, she just, I don't know, like, she seemed more unpredictable and, like, powerful in episode 3 than she did in 5.
Yeah.
Or, like, in 5, it was, like, she just felt like a mini-boss or something, like...
Yeah.
And she didn't talk a whole lot in episode 5 either. Although, the one part where she is scary in 5 is when she initially comes through the mirror in Crooked Man's office. That was, like, scary.
That was cool.
Especially because, like, coming off of 3... like, you are scared of her. And then the way she enters the room is really scary.
That's a really fun mirror gag I don't ever think I've seen before.
Yeah, totally. It's awesome.
Because you see it and you're like, wait, she's not standing in front of him.
Yeah.
It's funny you said you thought she was going to be a mini boss. But she was definitely the final boss, because once you go into the Crooked Man, he is not anything.
Yeah. Also, like, the Crooked Man's, like, trial or whatever seemed, like, childish or something to me. Like,
it was so weird.
Like, the way that, like, everyone kept on, like, standing on, like, Bigsby's side or, like, the Crooked Man's side was, like... I felt like they were making all the characters stupid, you know? It's like they were so easily swayed one way or another. Yeah. It was like, you're winning. The Crooked Man's winning. You're winning.
And it was just so...
I really didn't like that.
It was just so unorganized. It's just a bunch of people standing in a room. Fabletown really needs to get a courtroom.
Yeah, they do. I do like the main office, though.
Yeah, it is cool.
And I like the mirror, and I like how they kept, like, I liked the rhyming gag. I thought that was really funny.
Me too.
Yeah. What'd you think of Bluebeard? Oh, this is the thing I wanted to say earlier. So, Bluebeard burns all of that stuff. I'm not sure if it's the stuff I picked, but that doesn't get explained at all. No. And Bluebeard is not held accountable at all.
I know. It was totally weird. I guess that'll be something that's explained later.
Hopefully. But, like, when it wasn't explained, I was just like... That seemed huge to me. Yeah. It was like, you know, someone working on the inside that... deliberately sabotage what you're looking for.
I mean...
And then later he's just, like, still working with you, essentially.
Maybe because, like, it's... I don't know, it feels like it's sort of assumed that Snow and Bluebeard are teaming up or something. Maybe it's all going to be corrupt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Snow sure isn't very nice to Bigby. I just wanted Bigby to get to be in love with someone.
Snow was pretty nice to me.
Well, I guess, yeah. I didn't do a lot of stuff she wanted me to.
Oh, I did.
But she still didn't love you.
That's true.
So
but I don't necessarily think that's, like, what Wolf wanted.
Maybe. I think he kind of did. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think it was more, like, the Nurse of Faith thing. Like, by the end of it, at least.
Mm-hmm. Did you go after her, dude?
Yeah.
Me too. It's funny because I think we've spent a lot of this time nitpicking the things in it, but I did enjoy the experience as a whole.
Yeah, me too.
I definitely don't regret playing it, and I would say people should play it. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, and it's pretty, like... I beat the whole thing in this week, and I didn't feel very rushed at all. Like, when you initially said, like, if you barge through it, and then I bought the game before looking up when Episode 5 came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, what a mistake. Episode 5 comes out in, like, 2 days. But, there's not a whole lot of gameplay stuff they have to be concerned about or anything. So you don't have to be concerned about, like, not being able to beat it.
Yeah.
It is mostly like watching a show.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Watching 5 episodes of a show, granted, like, the first episode's like 2 hours, but is not that bad. And it's definitely entertaining throughout. And, like, yeah, I really enjoyed it still. I would definitely recommend it.
I would like to play more of these types of games that actually have an, like, complete story arc and don't go into a sequel.
Yeah. Oh, also... I don't know, if anyone's listening to this and you haven't played a Telltale game at all, I would recommend, well, I don't know, we've already spoiled a lot, but I would recommend you play this one first.
You think because the other one...
any other Walking Dead. What?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, just because I think the illusion would probably help this one the most. Mm-hmm. At least I think it would, but my memory might just be colored from how much I enjoyed the first Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
and maybe like I don't know, maybe the tells in the first Walking Dead in terms of what's going to happen would be more obvious if I was more used to like the I don't know, the mechanics of the game and like what the game tells you and everything.
Yeah. Well, I've got 2 minutes left of the memory card, so.
All right. Thanks for listening. Get the game.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to put together a wolf pun.
Oh wait, how about this? How about just this?
Okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it. Never mind. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Oh.